To get to the other side, or TGTTOS, or TGTTOSAWAF, or TGTTOSAWAMCCPWHNWAEY is my favorite game on MCC Island. I don't enjoy PvP that much, so that really only left Hole in the Wall and To Get to the Other Side. Since I enjoy it so much, I thought I'd share some strategies and knowledge of the game that I've picked up with you. First, I'm going to go over the outline of the game and need-to-know information. Next, I'll talk about the different maps, followed by all the different modifiers that can make or break your game. The last thing I go over will be combinations of maps and modifiers, which ones to look out for, and which ones to look forward to. Let's get into it. To get to the other side is simple. You have a certain amount of time to get to the other side of the map and hit a chicken as soon as possible. The sooner you do it, the more points you get. There are 3 rounds of this in one game. Well, that covers the basics. Let's talk about the need-to-know information. There are different types of people in this game. There's the pacifist, who never hits anyone, the brutalist, who hits everyone, the entitled brat, who hits and trolls everyone as much as possible, but gets mad when you hit him, and a lot more. As for me, I think of myself as a bit of a brutalist. I hit people, but I'm okay when I get hit. If you ask me, there's not much point in asking people not to hit. People will always hit. I recommend just going with the flow and hitting people. However, there are times when you do not hit. If someone is building a bridge and you are using it, you do not hit them off. They built this bridge, and you used it, and then you hit them off as a thank you? You're a monster if you do that. Also, don't go after a participant in MCC. They just want to play. I've seen participants get ganged up on by several people, and that's not cool. Next, need to know information. Don't wait to hit people off. I've seen people stop and wait just to hit off whoever comes next. Don't do that. It wastes your time, it wastes the victim's time, and it wastes our time, since we need to wait even longer for them to finish. The only time you turn around to hit someone is if you're about to cross an obstacle that is very easy to hit someone off of. Crossing this obstacle would give them a chance to hit you off, so I see it as acceptable. Okay, this need-to-know information was mostly about player standards, which is mostly opinion. So I think it's best to move on to different information. Achievements. There's a wide range of achievements. From participation, this will be playing TGTTOS games, slapping a certain number of chickens, to slightly luck-based, but also skill-based achievements, such as get first place in a round less than half a second before the second place player finishes, and get first place in a block placing round without placing a block. This is best done on the pits map, by the way. To almost impossible achievements, such as win every round of a TGTTOS game and don't die in any of them. There's also achievements for punching a lot of players into the void, and winning every round of a game without the no death part of the achievement. And that's all the information we need for this section. Now on to the maps. First, we have walls. In walls, you clear 3 pits and have to climb over 3 walls on your way to the chickens. It's really one of the simplest maps out there. Next we have Factory. This is a challenging one. It's best to have skills with block clutches for this one, as well as running alongside a wall while placing blocks to run on. However, I use a strategy that doesn't require those skills as much. Next, we have Treetop. This is my favorite map. It's super fun to play, although it's very easy to die on this one. Now Beehive. Beehive uses the Minecraft feature of not being able to jump on honey blocks, and is able to utilize that to make this the worst map of the game. Siege is a very unique map. Instead of being a horizontal map where the goal is to make jumps and stuff, this is a very vertical map where you have to avoid traps. Pits is a pretty interesting one. You can't cross the gaps unless somebody is building a bridge, so you have to either be the bridger or go on somebody else's bridge and risk being hit off by other people. Now Badlands. I don't really like Badlands that much, but I don't dislike it. It has big ups and downs. While the course itself is nice, the chicken containment method in this map is atrocious. And finally, Cliff. This is a map I also consider to have big ups and downs. The design of the map and obstacles is good, but the frequency getting hit off is annoying also. Those are all the maps. Now for the modifiers. I'm just going to go rapid fire with these. Double time. You run twice as fast and have half the time. Red light, green light. Every once in a while it becomes a red light. During this time, you can still look around and punch people as well as place blocks. However, if your character moves, even if it's not your fault, you get sent back to the start. Early birds. Chickens spawn before the goal. One life. You have only one life. If you fall into the void, you get a did not finish and 0 points for that round. Low gravity. You can jump twice as high and fall very slowly. TNT time. TNT falls from the sky. Crack shot and slapstick. These are two separate but pretty much the same modifiers. Crack shot gives a punch bow, and slapstick gives a knockback stick. These enchantments are very high level though, so expect a large effect when hitting people with them. Hot potato, a modifier that I feel is very rare. I've only gotten it twice and I've played a lot. People get a hot potato and you hit people to give it to them. Eventually, all hot potatoes explode. crumbling blocks. I could not get a game with this. I've only gotten it once in all the time I've played this game. Basically, though, blocks break a bit after you place them. It's time for the last part. It's time to talk about combinations of modifiers and maps, which I'm kind of excited about. Let's start with Siege. And let's do the modifier double time. Basically, you'll overshoot your jumps quite a bit, and it doesn't speed up the speed of you jumping. So, it might kind of make this map a little difficult. The best thing you can do is just practice on double time. It doesn't matter what map you're on for double time, you just gotta get used to that type of movement. Now, red light, green light. Red light, green light is horrible on this map. It's horribly designed. If you get shot by any of the skeletons, you'll get sent back to the beginning, and there's skeletons in the last obstacle of a game. So basically, what I suggest doing is, you go to the edge of the map right before you enter the soul sand, like to the very left end of the map, or to the very right end of the map, and then you drop down, and there's a 1 block wide space that you can go through to the edge of the soul sand. Then you pop back out and go up the ladders, and yeah, it helps you avoid the skeletons. And also, this can be kind of difficult because people are very concentrated, so there's a good probability that you'll get hit if you're in any of the very concentrated areas. So I suggest sticking to the edge of the map for pretty much the whole game. Now for walls. Let's start with Crackshot and Slapstick, those modifiers. They're pretty much the same, so I decided to group them together like this. It can be kind of annoying to get hit so much off track by those, but really, you just gotta keep going. There's not much you can do about avoiding hits other than going through the middle and just bridging across the entire thing. So yeah, really all you can do is just suck it up or try to build your own path to avoid people. It's kind of an annoying map for that one. Now let's do low gravity. Low gravity is really fun on this map. I mean, you can build up faster, which you need a lot, and since you're already really high up, you can basically just glide until the next wall, stack up over that really quickly, glide to the next wall, stack up really quickly, and you're at the end. It's pretty fun, so I recommend, trying out that version, although I guess you can't really choose what modifier and map you get. Anyway, let's move on to Treetop. Let's talk about double time on this one. It can definitely be tricky, missing your jump because you're overshooting it, and also it's pretty easy to fall off on this map, so being unfamiliar with this movement can definitely be tricky to getting used to on this map. Again, just like Siege, I recommend getting used to the double time movement and just playing a lot and hoping you get double time a lot. Now for the pits map. Let's start with double time again. So this is a really good map to have double time on, because people can bridge quickly and you can run across their bridge quickly. This is actually the first time that I ever got first place on any round. This was it, because I was able to run across somebody's bridge really quickly because they were building it flat, and I did that for both of the pits, and then I was able to jump into the chicken pit before them and hit a chicken. I recommend doing something just like that if you want to get first place. Oh boy, next is red light, green light. People are very concentrated on this map, so it makes red light, green light very difficult to complete. But yeah, there's not much you can do about it other than hit people, so if you want to hit people, hit people. If you don't want to hit people, you kind of just gotta suck it up. Now for slapstick / crack shots. Again, I'm gonna pair them together because they're pretty much the same. These can be hurtful and also very useful. If you're building a bridge and somebody hits you with one of these, if they were on your bridge, then they're gonna hit you pretty much to the next island. If you're able to aim well, then you can just land straight on the island and you'll have a head start over other people. But also, if they hit you from another bridge, then they'll pretty much 100% just send you flying away from everybody else and into the void. So yeah, these can be very helpful and very hurtful on this map. So use them responsibly. Now for Badlands, double time. Double time, a lot of people seem to really dislike this one. You'd think that it would be really fun on Badlands because it's a really horizontal map. So, it's pretty perfect for having double the speed. However, since it doesn't increase the speed that you jump at, if you fall into a pit, you'll pretty much have double the effect on your time than you would have on normal mode. So that means that if you make quite a bit of mistakes, then you will probably not finish. In fact, you will most definitely not finish, because even with only a couple mistakes, or just slightly bad movement through the whole thing, it can pretty much completely ruin your whole entire run. So a lot of people don't like this one, but I actually quite like it. I don't really know why. Now for red light, green light. This can be horrible on this map, or it can go really well, because it's a very long course. So if you hit somebody like in the second half of the round, then it's very likely they will not finish, because it's impossible to move that much distance in just green lights, and they might get hit even again, because getting hit sends you all the way back to the beginning, so it does so much damage on this map since it's such a long course. Now for Beehive, let's do double time. Double time is really hated by a lot of people because it makes it really easy to miss a lot of jumps at the second half, but I'm okay with it because I'm okay with double time movement, so I don't really mind it being on difficult maps. Now, crack shot slash slapstick. This can be very awful on this map. If somebody hits you at all with these in the second half of the map, it can pretty much be like minus, I don't know, 10 places for this round or something insane, because they do so much damage. Like, if they hit you backwards, you'll likely be sent back like 2 of those like hexagon things, and you'll likely land in one of the honey pits, so then you'll have to find your way out, and by then many people have passed you. So it can definitely be annoying on this map. Now for the cliff map, let's do crack shot slash slapstick. It's very cruel to use it on this map. It just really is. Now for the factory map. So we have crack shot slash slapstick. So that can definitely have a lot of effect on your game, because you're near the void a lot of the time. So getting hit into the void is something that will commonly happen in this mode. So you'll just have to get used to it, or get really good at hitting people off before they can hit you. Now TNT time. So TNT time is definitely difficult on this map because it will be constantly destroying all of the blocks that people place. And also, there aren't any other blocks to go on, because, I mean, there's no ground. So this can definitely make the map very difficult for you. It makes it very difficult for me. And yeah, just hope that you don't get it. Low gravity. Low gravity on this map is awesome. It's one of my favorite modifiers, like, to get on any map, because it makes it so much easier to place blocks. It can get you a really high placement, and yeah, you can definitely like take much riskier moves when you get this modifier, and overall it's just a really fun way to play this map. Now, I've gone through all of the maps so far, but we've been leaving one modifier out, which is One Life, because it has a massive effect on some maps and not so much on others, and it's like one of the most feared modifiers. So I figured I'd just go over One Life's effect on every single map. So that's what I'm gonna do. Siege. It has almost no effect on Siege, because you're basically trying to die if you do die on this map. Walls. It can definitely have a big effect on walls. You know, it's pretty easy to get hit into the void, and sometimes you may somehow mess up really badly and somehow go into the void. And yeah, you can also get hit out if you land in the cobwebs by anybody else who is either in the cobwebs or just wants to be mean. Now for Treetop. This is one of the biggest effects that One Life has throughout the whole game. Treetop is not a good map to get One Life on, except I like it. I seem to like all of the modifiers on the maps that people hate them on. So yeah, it's just so easy to die on this map. So it can be very difficult to complete if there's One Life. So I recommend just staying back until there's like nobody left going through the course, and then going. And take your time, because you don't want to accidentally fall into the void. That would be awful. Now pits. Pits is also a pretty bad map to have one life on, because people can very easily hit you into the void. So I recommend staying back again, and just letting everybody go before you. Badlands. It has no effect on Badlands. You can almost, like, you can't fall into the void. And I'd say the same thing goes for Beehive. Now for Cliff. This is pretty much like the second worst map to have it on, except for maybe Factory, which I haven't gone over yet, because this map was literally designed so that people could easily hit other people off of the map. Now Factory. Factory is my least favorite map to get one life on, because for some reason I like it on Treetop and Cliff, and this is probably the third most difficult one to get it on, or it could even be the first, because there's almost no actual ground. But yeah, it's very difficult to complete with one life, so I recommend, once again, be very careful, stay back, and also I would recommend building up on top of all the machines and stuff, and just running along those, or just bridging across yourself. Just make sure you're careful while bridging. And that's it. That's everything I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.